All right, we're getting ready to leave the campground, and we came up the street, grabbed some breakfast. We have a little problem. It's dead. The accessory doesn't work and the on doesn't work. And this is a problem, I think, related to another problem that we've been having with the electrical system. It shut off on us, I think, 3 times while we were driving. And I had turned the key off and turned it back on, and it came back to life like nothing happened. And I couldn't diagnose it because every time I went to work on it, everything worked. So I think that this is the problem that happened to where it's dead all the time. So now we get to check it out. That's why we have test equipment with us. Yeah, this thing's a rat's nest. They got all this stuff here out in the open. It should be underneath the cover, but that's a whole nother story. And we got 12 volts coming up to the solenoid. This solenoid here's got to turn on to get juice to the rest of the relays. I do know that. So there's got to be power someplace coming off of one of these heading into the switch inside. So I'm just going to go through and just make sure we got power through all those circuit breakers. There's ignition switch. Let's see what we have on that one. Yeah, we have 12 volts. So, and it's tight. I do believe that the ignition switch goes from there, goes through one of these connectors into the firewall to the key switch, and it comes back and activates this solenoid. So I'm thinking here, I think what I'm going to do is I might jump this solenoid and it should come to life, and then we'll worry about it later instead of here in the parking lot. Before I go ahead and make a jumper wire for that, I'm going to climb underneath the dash and see if the key switch has got power going to it. This thing right here is the key switch. It's a rat's nest in there, but you see all the wires are the same color. So they actually label them. I can't read them. So I'm going to start probing around and see if I can't figure it out. I may have a bad key switch. I climbed underneath there. I got power going to the switch, and I don't have any power coming out of it when you turn the key on or the accessory. So I'm pretty sure the key switch is bad, so I don't think we're going to deal with it here. I do have some electrical tools, but I also have some jumper leads. Now, these did not come from Harbor Freight. These ones did. I don't think they'll handle the current. These are a little bit thicker. This is a neck size wire up, but I got 2 of them, so I'm going to jump up with 2 of them and see if we can get it started. So I got the wire on the hot there, and then we're just going to manually jump this solenoid. All right, that's the alarm going off. So I can jump it. The only thing I'm worried about is if this wire pops off, it's going to short out and it could catch fire. So I'm thinking about maybe putting a fuse in line with it. I'm going to unplug this annoying alarm. Okay, what I did is I brought the meter back out, and I'm going to see what kind of amps. I've got it on 10 amps. It's plugged into 10 amps. The wire's going back to the solenoid, so I'm going to hit it here. I hear it click. Oh, it only draws 3/4 of an amp, so that's not a whole lot. So those jumper cables will work. I put like a 2 amp fuse in there. Let me see what I have in the bin. I'm trying to see what I have in my box of tricks here. So I have the cigarette lighter, and it's got an end on it, and then we got the fuse holder. It should have a fuse in there. I'm gonna need a magnifying glass to see what that fuse is, but I still need to put some ends on here. This is like my emergency let's MacGyver something back together box. It's got screws and all kinds of crap in here. Sandpaper. I'm gonna have to make a video on the stuff that we bring. Oh, look at this. Look at that. I don't even have to cut that one. All I gotta do is put some ends on here. Okay, this thing here is made for a 20 amp fuse. I found a 3 amp fuse. So we're gonna use this, and then there goes the tablet. It's fun and games.
When you open the cabinets, there's always a surprise.
Bingo. Crimpers. Put a switch in. Alright, we're gonna have to get some tools to get this installed, but essentially what we're gonna do is this is gonna go here to here, and we'll be able to start it. So I gotta get a socket up there, and that's hot, so you gotta be real careful we don't short nothing out. Okay, I did a little modification. Cut the center out of that, so we're just gonna slip that thing in there. Now I'm gonna take the fuse out just so it doesn't engage. This is this hard part. Can't touch anything else. everything should be on inside, so let's see if it starts up. Yeah, everything looks like it's on up there. Let's see if it starts up. And
Towards the passenger side?
yeah.
There you go. Oh, fast version.
All right, we're good to go for right now. So that's working. Feel pretty confident with that, so we'll work on that at another campground. See?
You got that figured out?
Yeah. So this thing's been shutting off. It shut off on us 3 times in a year, and it shuts off when you're driving, which is really scary. But I was really quick, turn the key off, turn it back on, and fire right back up like nothing happened. So I think that was the whole problem. Is I think the key switch has been going bad, but it was hard to diagnose when it doesn't do it when you're trying to test it. So we're good to go now. It's kind of like halfway hot wiring something, so don't be doing that. But you still need the key because we're not sending a signal back down to the starter. So you still need to turn the key to get it to start. But this is just getting the ignition on. That lights up the dash and all the gauges and stuff. So it seems good. The problem is turning it off. Got to pull the fuse out. Everything stays on though. So we're at Walmart. We got to get some groceries and stuff. We're still in New Mexico, but everything's working good with that little jumper wire that I put in for the ignition. I just can't turn it off without popping the hood and pulling the fuse out. So I'm gonna give my buddy Richard a call from the Barth video and find out what ignition switch this is. This RV is from 1995, 6, something like that, and it's got a GM ignition switch in it. And the company that made the RV, Ferron, they've been out of business now for like 18 years. So you can't get any information on who made the switch. I know it's a GM switch. I just got to figure out, you know, what it came out of. So I'm gonna call him and see if he has any idea.
Hello.
Hey man.
Hey man, what are you doing?
Hey, we stopped for some lunch at a Flying J, I think it is.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta pick your brain, man.
Go ahead.
Hey, do you know what I can order this GM key switch?
I do.
Hold on. Hey, hold on 1 second. Doing good.
Do me a favor, put it in an RV spot
Where's the RV spots?
right next to you. The spots here, the trucks are parked right now because they're too big to park in an actual lot. They're too small for the bank.
Okay.
Right there.
All right.
Go in, you'll hang out a little bit, but you'll be okay.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you, boss.
No problem. All right. Security guard told me I had to move.
Anyway, I have one.
Oh, you have one?
I have them.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. Then I'll just deal with this. I'll put a switch in or something to turn the ignition on, and then just deal with it when I get home then.
Yeah, just do what you gotta do. I'm okay for that.
All right. All right. That'll work.
That's not a biggie.
All right. Talk to you in a little bit, man.
Okay. All
right.
Here we go.
All right. Bye. We made it to the campground. Check out our view. We got that mountain off in the background. I got the hood up. The engine's still running, but the key's off, so we gotta disconnect our jumper. And you're gonna hear the diesel turn off. I'm gonna try to put a switch in so I don't have to keep popping the hood and pulling fuses. Look at the view. Pretty nice. Got a pasture right next door. Pretty decent campground. Passport America, $14.75. I went through my box of goodies right here and found a switch. I'm gonna go ahead and wire this to the key switch as a bypass, so we won't have to keep taking that fuse in and out. But that worked for today. Got us here to where we need to be. We didn't have to get towed, didn't have to call AAA, Good Sam's, all that stuff. You gotta have some skills when you do this, or you're gonna be sitting for a while waiting on people. So I'm gonna go ahead and splice up some wires and get the switch put in underneath the dashboard, and we're going to kind of do it kind of down and dirty. I'm going to use these Scotch lock things, I think that they call them. They always come with trailer light kits. I throw them in the garbage usually. I hate these things. They should outlaw them, but for what this is going to be used for, since we're only drawing 3/4 of an amp, it's going to be nice, quick, and easy to put it on there, and that's why everybody uses them. But they don't make a really good connection for tail lights or any heavy load, but it'll work for this instance. And I can't believe I actually had 2 of these in my toolbox. So I'm going to climb underneath the dash and hook it to the ignition switch, and it's just going to be kind of MacGyver special just laying there, but we'll be able to get home and we'll get the ignition switch changed out. So, and Anna's quite amused. Do you see anything there for you? Is there anything down there for a poodle? No? Nothing down there for a poodle? There could be. It's always something. It's a game, isn't it? There's got to be something to do here, right? All right, so basically I just put some terminals on some wire, and we're just going to put it on the switch. I'm not sure exactly which wires does what, but either it's going to work or it's going to turn the LED on, so you can't blow anything up. But I'm pretty sure I ohmed it out, and it should be the two switches, the switch terminals right there. These will end up going in the Scotch lock, and it's open here, so you can open it up, get it around the wire, and then the other wire can slip into it. And this is the part that I don't like about them. Right here, and it's really hard to see, but basically those slots is where it goes into the wire, and it cuts through the insulation, and sometimes it cuts partially through the wire, which is not a good thing. Got it hooked up in here, so let me show you what I did. Okay, here's our switch, and then that's what a Scotch lock looks like after it's put on. The one wire goes into one side, so basically it just connects this wire to that wire. This wire here is hot, so it's got 12 volts on it, and basically the key switch, when you turn it on, puts 12 volts to this wire right here, which goes ahead and trips that big solenoid that runs all the ignition for the whole bus. So now with this in, you hear the alarm come on, and the dashboard should be lit up. So now I can turn it on and off in here until we get home and get the key switch fixed. Okay, so there's the switch. I'm just gonna have it hanging out of the dash here. It's temporary, but let's check it out. There we are, all the gauges come on, everything works. Good to go, so we're all set. I know I can make it back in Florida with no problem, so. And here's the real kicker, is the key switch works now. So if we would have called for a tow truck or something, they could have towed it to a shop, and the guy could have gone in there and turned the key on and go, what do you mean, what's wrong with it? And spent half a day or a whole day, and they couldn't find nothing wrong with it. It's been an intermittent problem for the last 2 years, so now I know exactly what it is, and we'll fix it when we get back home. But we're gonna go ahead and make some dinner and call it a night, so we'll see you next time.